Wong's Kitchen episode 3, and we're going to make sushi today. So these are the things that I have in my pantry and in the freezer and in the refrigerator. And these are actually you would think that making sushi is difficult, but actually the ingredients to make sushi it's actually pretty simple. All right, so everything is actually pre-prepared here, and as you look at this is actually really fun because my son and my daughter, since we're home together, they get together. We get together. My daughter helps me prep all the ingredients, and then my son Matthew actually sets up an amazing production as we do this. So this is actually completely a shot down on all the ingredients, and you don't have to see my face today. All you do is you see the ingredients. So that's actually way better. All right, so let's get started with our sushi. Of course, sushi always starts with cooked rice. So this cooked rice is a Calrose rice that is it has a we've talked about rice almost every single time. It's an in between stickiness. There's long grain, and then there's jasmine, which is kind of a little bit shorter than long grain, and then this is jasmine. So this is a medium grain rice, so it has a little bit of a stick. So what we want to do first is with this cooked rice, we want to actually season it because um, rice is in season. So let's add some seasoning to it. As we add our seasoning, this is just some mixture of rice and sugar, and it's just about a teaspoon each of sugar and salt. So let's just sprinkle this in on top here. And then another seasoning for our sushi is rice wine vinegar. So here's a shot of the rice wine vinegar bottle right here. And this is actually comes pre-seasoned, but you want to add a little bit more seasoning. So let's add the rice wine vinegar into the rice, and we're just gonna go ahead and mix that up. So just to get it all seasoned here, and let's mix it up. And then once you work in the sugar, the salt, and the rice wine vinegar, you're ready to go. This rice was sitting out for probably about half an hour. We took it out of the rice cooker because if your rice is too hot, it's going to make your the seaweed skin get mushy and is not going to stay crisp. So you want to kind of let your rice cool. All right, that should be the seasoning should be mixed in enough. Now let's make our California roll first. So Matt, you want to move the camera over to these ingredients? Let's see if you can slide it in. Oh yeah, see, we got some production value here to this. Awesome. What we have for the California roll is we have some imitation crab meat. You can always, if you want to go really high end, you can try to find real crab meat, but imitation crab meat's a lot cheaper. This bag here from Ralph's, it was a 1 pound bag of imitation crab meat, and it was 99 cents. So basically, it's made of fish, and it has some crab flavoring. All right. To make our crab filling, which is an all California roll, we're going to go ahead and put in what we have in this bowl for the seasoning. There's some salt. There is about a teaspoon of honey, and there's about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. So let's go this way because it's an easier mix. I'm gonna add the crab meat, imitation crab meat, into our mayo and honey salt mixture. Let's just fold that in together for our filling. Now, the cool thing about sushi, there are going to be people who say, sushi has to have certain things in it. As long as you have rice, you have your seaweed skin, you can throw whatever you want inside as long as you enjoy eating it. So, but this is pretty much a classic California roll mixture. So once that's all folded in, that's ready to go for your California roll. All right. In a traditional California roll, we usually have cucumbers. I would recommend buying Persian cucumbers because they're really crispy. But I didn't have cucumbers in the house, but we had Napa cabbage. The Napa cabbage is actually going to give a different texture because sushi is usually really soft. The Napa cabbage is going to give it a crunch, so that's why you put the cucumber in. And then Napa cabbage is also, is flavor-wise, it can be a little bit refreshing. It has a little bit of a peppery flavor when it's raw, so you can actually go ahead and use that. And then instead of avocado, we're going to put in some grated carrots because I didn't have avocados in the house. We haven't been grocery shopping for about 2 weeks, so these are just some refrigerator pantry items. This is going to add a little bit of sweetness. It's also going to add some color, right? The avocado in normal California roll gives you that rich kind of buttery flavor, but we have the mayo and we have the crab, which will do that for us today. All right, so let's get rolling here, and let's roll up our rolls. So what you need, roasted seaweed. Matt, can you move the camera over? You have your roasted seaweed. So this is a roasted seaweed pack. There's usually about 10 sheets. You can get this at any supermarket like Ralph's, Vaughn's. They just sell it in there's an Asian section usually in most supermarkets, and you can get this roasted seaweed skin. So let me get the roasted seaweed skin here. Let's put this aside, and I have a sheet. So here's our sheet. And look, here's a little paddle that I happened to find because I was cleaning out a drawer. But this is actually a little sushi rice paddle, I guess, that you could actually put the rice down. What you want to do is make sure you have some water so that you can wet your paddle. And we're just going to go ahead and scoop some rice and then just do a nice flat layer of rice and then wet your paddle again so we can spread it out. You don't have to get too close to the edge, but you want a nice thin layer of rice, even layer of rice. So it's going to keep getting some rice, and we're just going to cover up this whole rice, this whole roasted seaweed skin. Be careful not to rip. It's always wet your paddle. You can always, if you don't have one of these little cool bamboo paddles, you always just use a regular spoon. All right, almost there. Now, what we're going to do a traditional California roll. If you want to be lazy, you could just roll this, but we're actually going to invert this and have the rice on the outside. So that's what this bamboo pad is for, and we'll show you how to use that in a minute. All right, that looks pretty even. If you don't want to have bad edges where there's not any rice, you want to try to fill in the edge here so that when you cut it up, there's actually rice on the edge, the ends of your rolls. Okay, so in a traditional California roll, where on the outside you actually put sesame seeds. The reason why they actually put sesame seeds on the outside is so that when you actually do the inverted roll, it's not going to stick as much. So I have some sesame seeds here that were just toasted in the toaster oven just to give it a little bit more of a nutty flavor. And we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle our sesame seeds on the outside of our rice roll. And then we're going to... All right. I think that's enough sesame seeds. Just depends on how many sesame seeds you like. That's enough. Now, here's the fun part. Let's put this aside. what you need to do is get a piece of plastic wrap, which I have over here, and you're going to lay it down on your bamboo sheet. And then you're going to carefully take your rice sheet and turn it over onto the plastic wrap with the bamboo. And then now we're going to go ahead and put in the filling, and then we're going to roll it up. So let's go ahead and put the imitation crab meat with our mayo, honey, and some salt filling here. All right, that's enough. Now, don't overfill, because if you overfill, your sushi roll will not close, and that's never a good thing. And then let's go ahead and put a little bit of our Napa cabbage. But again, this is a substitution for cucumbers, because I did not have any cucumbers in the house today. And then just for some color, we're gonna add in some shredded carrots. These carrots are not raw; they were actually blanched in boiling water, meaning that you put it in boiling water, let them just be able to cook. You don't want to overcook them so they're not mushy. But there we go. Let's put in the carrots, and then we're gonna go ahead and let's do the roll here. So you got to get your fingers all dirty. You want to be able to hold in your filling, and then go ahead and just roll it up. And then what you do is you release here. Let's keep going here.
Really,
okay.
Got them moving.
Did I get it? Oh, didn't quite close up. Let me just get this here. And just keep rolling. Hold on. Didn't quite get there. Okay.
Got it. Awesome.
All right. There we go. So now, if you don't want to do the inverted roll, just go ahead and just roll it with the roasted seaweed on the outside. So here we go. Let me just pull it out, put it out onto the. That is our first roll. That's the first California roll. Now, our second roll we want to make, instead of this California roll, we'll just leave that here. We'll cut it up in a minute. Let me just clean off this rice so we're not going to be sticky here. All right. Is the Gimbap. The Gimbap, it's a Korean roll. So same thing, you're going to start with your sushi skin. You're going to put your rice in, and then all you got to do is just fill it up. But this is even easier because we're not going to do the inverted rice so that the rice is on the outside. We're just going to leave the rice on the inside. And then in a traditional Gimbap Korean roll, there is, let me just go through some of the ingredients before I actually finish up the rice. There is some type of meat in there. This is actually a spicy pork, because that's what I had. But traditionally, they actually do a marinated beef, which is a bulgogi. And actually, you can get bulgogi. They make great bulgogi at Costco. It comes in. They actually slice it up, and it's actually inexpensive at Costco. You could buy a whole container of a marinated Korean beef in the Costco meat section. So there's meat in it. We're gonna put in some kimchi. Kimchi is a pickled Korean cabbage, and it's actually spicy. They actually use this hot pepper paste to gochujang that they use. And look, let me just show you this pepper paste. It's super red. It's really, and then they just mix it in with some garlic and some vinegar, water, salt, and they actually make a pickled cucumber. So we're gonna use kimchi. Again, there is also some shredded carrots to give your roll some color. They also put in some scrambled eggs. So this is just a thinly made scrambled egg cut up into strips. And then for additional color and flavor, we have some green onions, or basically some chives. Okay, so let's finish this up. And let's make this roll here, and then we'll start filling it. And this is way easier. If you're lazy at home for the California roll, instead of inverting it so the rice is on the outside, and just do it this way. It doesn't really matter as long as you can eat them and you're gonna enjoy them. Go with it. Go with that. Right? Forget making it fancy, because when you eat, you wanna. Yeah. So here we go. Always dip it in the water as you go here. All right. So there's your great layer of rice. And then I'm not even going to worry about inverting. Okay. And then we're just going to, let's put our filling in. Start. It doesn't matter what order you want the filling to go in. But we're going to put a little bit of our meat. And these are actually going to be spicy Korean rolls because the pork is actually also marinated in the hot pepper paste. Let's put a little bit of our kimchi in. Kimchi is also going to add some spiciness, but it also adds a great pickled flavor. It's just kind of add in with the heat and the saltiness. Carrots. This one's getting a little full, but we're okay. Here are your couple pieces of chives / green onions, and then let's put in a couple strips of our scrambled egg. And this one's the Gimbap rolls are actually beautiful because once you cut them up, there's all this great color in them. So, all right, this is way easier. See, this is just leave it this way. You could do your California rolls like this too. Just go ahead and just roll it up. If you want to seal it up a little bit, get a little bit of water, just running a finger across here, and then close it up more. All right, there you go. You have two rolls. You have a California roll, and you have your Korean Gimbap roll. So let's do this too. It's just a whatever knife that you have that's kind of sharp. Don't. All right. Let's make sure it's a little bit wet, and then you just slice up your rolls. The end is usually kind of unfortunately a throwaway, but you've got to go with it. Here, my son's hand is out. He wants the end. Okay, here, let's slice up the rolls. So watch. Let me turn it over. Look how beautiful. Look at that. Oh, that's a little. Yeah, let me get it closer to the camera. Look, there's the color in there. So it's a beautiful mix of. You have the green, you have the orange, you have the yellow. So we're gonna plate it, and let me cut this up, and then we're gonna end up plating it, and then presenting our sushi. Now look at that. You made sushi in 20 minutes. Now we had to do a little bit of prep, but the prep wasn't really that big of a deal. We probably finished the prep within 15 minutes to have all of these things ready. Okay, and then again, here's the end roll. There, I'll give it to my daughter this time and give her the end. All right, so here's let's plate our rolls here, and I'm gonna get it onto our plate. All right, let's just put those aside because presentation also means a lot when you cook, because the prettier it looks, the more appetizing it is. So let's cut up our California roll. Again, you know what? If you don't, it's sticky. Should have put a little bit more sesame seeds, but it's fine. Let me wet my fingers here. All right, let's. All right, almost there. Let's just get this cut up. Again, if you wet your knife a little bit, it'll help giving a nice clean cut to your sushi rolls. Let me just get rid of these ends. Now the ends actually don't look that bad because they have a ton of stuff inside of them, and then of course they still taste good. Okay, here's your California roll. Let's get this into the picture here. There, you got your California roll plate. All right, so what do we have here? We have a Gimbap Korean roll, and then we also have our traditional California roll. If you want to finish off a plate, always just for some color, right? Presentation. There's your two kind of rolls today. I hope you can, at some point, don't go to the market too much because we're supposed to be staying home. But if you have some of these ingredients, and again, it doesn't matter what you put inside as long as you enjoy eating it. So, but here, again, you have your traditional Korean roll, and then you have your, and not so traditional California roll. Again, cucumber, avocado. Instead, we put in some Napa cabbage and some carrots. So, does anybody want to come over and take one off of this plate in? All right, you see the fingers here? They're grabbing one. All right, well, they disappeared. How do they taste? They taste okay? All right. Hey, anybody have any questions?